Thanks to the Nigerian Innovation Summit team for inviting me to join you virtually today. I wish I could join you in person, but this is technology. And so we will make do with being in many places at the same time. And we're talking about innovating for the future. And that is exciting for me because the future comes with many possibilities, including, being in many places at the same time, including being able to maximize opportunities across various spaces. And I'm very glad to be able to share with you today, focusing on digital opportunities for African youth. And I want to start by saying that this is the moment for African youth. And I say that with all sense of responsibility, not just because I want to sound, I want you to get excited, but because this is the reality. This is the reality because many years ago, there were certain opportunities that you probably didn't have access to because of where you were born, because of some of the limitations, the kind of passport you carry, and all that. And then COVID happened, and this thing called remote opportunities came in, and that has changed the world of work. That has also created an opportunity for young people, regardless of where they are, not only to be able to have access to all forms of work that can use their skills, but to create products and services that more people, now thanks to, COVID is a bad thing, but thankfully many people have now moved online, and you can now create goods and services that a lot more people can have access to online, and that is a unique opportunity. So when I say that it is the moment of the African youth, I say that with all sense of excitement, responsibility, and of course, awareness of the opportunities that come. But of course, there are two kinds of African youth. There is the unprepared African youth who keeps complaining, and there are many things to complain about. There is policy to complain about. There are many things that come with what country were you born in, what opportunities do you not have access to, what kind of legislative landscape exists, what kind of opportunities are there. You can complain about many things, and there are more than enough things to complain about. But there is a second group of young people on this continent of Africa, the prepared young people who, in spite of lack of opportunities, look for them, in spite of unenabling policies, go out of their way to get things done and also to get involved. And I'm trusting that you belong to the second category and not to the former. And of course, three attributes of the second category are the things I will share with you this morning. And the first, attribute is that these young people are responsible for their own future. It means that there are times when policies are not friendly, they go out of their way to get involved, either to change or to influence the policy. It means that there are times when it is very possible that there are no opportunities because mistakes have been made or because lessons haven't been learned or for any reason whatsoever, but they are in charge of their own future. They know that regardless of what the policy is, regardless of what the lack of opportunities are, they must do something about it. And I believe very strongly that we've seen a stronger wave of these kinds of young people in the last few years across the African continent. And the good news is that you don't even have to work in spite of, you can also influence. And I say to people that if there is a gap in policy, if there is a gap in opportunities, you can band together. You can work together. You can consult the relevant institutions that need to make change happen and make the change happen. I always remember with excitement when it was impossible for young people in Nigeria to attend serious IT meetings. This was not a long time ago. This was not up to 25 years ago in this same country, Nigeria. And I remember getting a group of young people together. We got a bus, thankfully at the time from my mentor engineer, Titi Omoetu. We got ourselves into a bus and went to Abuja for what was called at the time the E-Nigeria Conference. And even though it wasn't exactly that we were very much welcome, not only did we ask to register, not only did we say, you know what, don't even give us food, don't give us, conference materials, but let's participate. Let's change the face of things. Let's make change happen. Let's make policy work for young people. We began to produce daily newsletters. We began to contribute intelligently. The first time I raised my hand, somebody said, oh, what do young people know except music and girls and things like that? Just shut up. But guess what? That changed because we chose to take action. We did that at the national level, we did that at the regional level in Accra, we did that at the global level, in Geneva. And today, we can look back and know that some of the foundations that we laid are being built upon, and we're excited about that. It is no longer a problem. In fact, it is now compulsory for young people who are the drivers of innovation to be in the room for that to happen. So the first attribute of a young African who will make change happen and who is ready is the fact that they definitely don't wait for things to change before they take action. They begin to take action. The second attribute is knowledge. We cannot complain while in ignorance. Ignorance, of course, is the biggest killer of dreams. If you don't know what to do, then you don't even know that you don't know. That's a bigger problem. My challenge to every young African is choose one area of expertise. Many years ago, I decided that ICTs for development, including policy and development, were the areas for me, and I began to chase it. It meant getting knowledge from old news magazines under the port of a friend of mine in all in Ife. It meant going for conferences. It meant attending training programs. It meant looking for an organization like Junior Achievement that could train me, which is of course what we do in our paradigm initiative, to ensure that everyone who walks into our organization is able to get the adequate training they need to become experts and indeed the best at what they do. Not only do you need to begin to take action, you need to begin to equip yourself with the adequate knowledge. And of course, the third attribute is not to go alone. You can never go alone if you are going very far. You need to learn to not be exactly the person who wants to take credit and do the least, but you have to work with other people. I say to every young person that cares to listen, the reason you have some of the successes you have today is because some people sacrificed and some people chose not to focus on taking credit and decided to work together with others. Owning 100% of a small thing can never be as big as owning 10%, even 1% of a much bigger thing. And that is where the future lies. That is where opportunities lie for young people. That is how we can innovate for the future. And I'm very glad, I'm excited at the opportunity for us to be able to do this on a bigger scale for young people on the continent. I am Nigerian, so I look forward to seeing a lot of you in this room today do big things. I look forward to you breaking into new territories and not waiting for government policy to move before you take action. I look forward to you gathering and getting new knowledge that will introduce new opportunities for you and take you to all of the amazing places that you can be, that you can go to and create new opportunities for yourself and for Nigeria as a whole. And I trust that in doing all of that, you will work together. You won't go alone. It's great to call yourself the CEO. It's great to call yourself the COO. It's great to call yourself anything, but it is more important for you to be something, not to be defined by your title, not to even be defined by what you try to do, but to be defined by the impact that you make. And when you work together with others, like I said, a small percentage of a big deal is more often than not way bigger than a big percentage of a small thing. Let us innovate for the future. And once again, I would like to say a very big thank you to the Nigeria Innovation Summit for inviting me to share this with you. The top is wide enough for everyone. I look forward to seeing you there. Cheers, and thank you very much.